Hey everybody, it's Will Saletan from the Bulwark. I want to talk to you about what happened in Pennsylvania on Saturday. By now, everyone knows a gunman tried to kill Donald Trump. At the Bulwark, we've been telling you all along that Trump is an authoritarian, a crook, and a threat to democracy. And a lot of people on the right are saying now that that kind of rhetoric about the threat Trump poses to our country led to the attempt on his life. Today, I want to make 2 points about that. One, Trump is a threat. We have to defeat him in this election. And two, violence is absolutely the wrong way to deal with him. Now, as we sit here today, we don't know exactly what motivated the shooter in Pennsylvania, but we do know that he targeted Trump. And although there's been way too much violence from people on the right, we also know that this shooter is not the first lunatic who has tried to kill a Republican politician. Just a few years ago, another would-be assassin shot and seriously wounded Steve Scalise, the House Majority Leader. So I want to make something super clear to anyone on the left and anyone who agrees with me that Trump is a menace. Most of you don't need a reminder of how crazy it is to engage in political violence. But for anyone who's tempted, or anyone who's been posting online that they wish this guy had succeeded in killing Trump, I want to take a minute to remind you why using violence to stop Trump isn't just wrong, it's completely self-destructive. It endangers our country, and it undermines every principle that those of us who oppose Trump are fighting to protect. Let's step back for a moment and remember what it is about Trump that makes him so dangerous. He is a criminal and a threat to democracy. He's a convicted felon and an adjudicated sexual assailant. He sent a mob to the Capitol to intimidate Congress in an attempt to overturn the 2020 election and stay in power. And then he sat in the White House, watched the attack on TV, and as members of Congress and his own aides begged him to tell the mob to go home, he refused. That is unforgivable. And then more than a year later, Trump said the Constitution should be suspended in order to return him to power. Last year, he said if he gets back in the White House, he'll be a dictator, but only for a day.
You're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
And he's very serious when he says he plans to gut the civil service and replace it with people who are loyal directly to him. That is not irresponsible rhetoric about Donald Trump. That is the truth. And that's why so many of us are determined to stop him. But there are limits to how we can and should try to stop him. And rule number 1 is no violence. Let's go back to the episode that clearly illustrates why Trump is such a menace. What was it about January 6th that most seriously jeopardized our democracy? The answer is violence. Up to that point, Trump had tried to manipulate various parts of the political system, the Justice Department, governors, legislatures, the vice president, the Electoral College, to overturn the election. But when he sent that mob to the Capitol and then patiently watched the attack, he was basically attempting a coup. If he had succeeded, the result would not just have been a second term for Trump. The result would have been that violence, not voting, decides who governs our country. That is what makes me so angry and should make all of us angry about what happened on Saturday. If that shooter in Pennsylvania had succeeded in killing Trump, the result would not just have been that Trump died. The result, again, would have been that violence decides who runs our country. The shooter would not have saved America. He would have plunged us deeper into chaos, retribution, bloodshed, and rule by force. He would have multiplied the damage Trump has already done. The movement to stop Donald Trump is not fundamentally about Trump. It's about protecting the principles, rules, and institutions Trump has tried to destroy. We're here to defend democracy, the Constitution, and the rule of law. You don't save democracy by shooting political candidates. You don't save the rule of law by executing people without a trial. If you want to help us protect America from Trump, You have to commit yourself to respecting what makes America, America. We're going to fight this guy legally, constitutionally, and democratically. We're going to defeat him at the ballot box. We're going to prosecute him in court. We're not going to take the law into our own hands, because if we do that, if we adopt Trump's methods or the methods of thugs who support him, we're not stopping Trump. We're finishing the destruction he started. So no, I'm not going to stop saying Trump is a menace and an aspiring autocrat. That's exactly what he is. He's a serial sexual predator.
I moved in her like a I'm going to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. Grab him by the I can do anything.
He admires dictators.
The problem is not that Putin is smart, which of course he's smart, but the real problem is that our leaders are dumb.
He says people who died for this country were suckers. He says non-white Americans who criticize him, Americans who were born here, should, quote, go back to the countries they came from. Donald Trump is a sociopath. He's one of the worst human beings our political system has ever produced. But that does not give you the right to kill him. He is not above the law, and neither are you. None of us are. If you're a member of the Bulwark community, you know how strongly we feel about the rule of law. But to anyone out there who's in any doubt, I want to be super clear. If you resort to violence, all of us who believe in our legal and political system, Democrats and Republicans, left and right, we will stand together. We will condemn you and we will prosecute you. And if you know anyone who's thinking of doing anything like what that shooter in Pennsylvania did, pick up your phone and call the FBI, because we have a country to protect. See you next time.